Yat Hashem, we'll speak about preparing chalot for Shabbat, for the holiday, and for Shavuot also, because on Shavuot, there's a mitzvah to eat dairy, right? So some ladies, they want to prepare cheesecakes. The question is, could we use the same oven that we cook meat to make cheesecake inside? Could we use the same oven that we cook meat the whole year to warm a pizza, right? Could we use the same oven that we cook meat to prepare lasagna? So let's understand what's the problem and how to go around the problem and what do we have to do exactly. Basically, the Gemara says you need a tanur gadol. Tanur gadol, a big oven in Halakha, is an oven that can contain 18 liters. Like if you take 18 bottles of milk on the bottom of the oven. Basically, we don't have such an oven. Besides the size, it has to have an opening so the smoke goes out. There's two problems in the oven. Not a problem, but it's a problem to use milk and meat together. There is recha, smell, and there is ze'ah, sweat. Sweat means like humidity. When you cook meat, there is the smell of the meat in the oven, and there's also the steam of the meat going inside the oven. Now, the smell goes away, but the steam stays. This steam is considered like meat. So the next time when you put something into the oven, this steam, which became hard and went on top of the walls of the oven, now with reheating it becomes liquid again, it turns into vapor, right? And it falls on your food. So basically, if I prepare meat in an oven and the meat is uncovered, the steam goes all over the oven, and the next time you're going to put bread, or the next time you're going to put cheese inside, this dirt, whatever it is, it will go down on your food. So there, as a general rule, you cannot warm up a pizza, you cannot make lasagna, and you cannot make a cheesecake in your regular oven where you bake and you roast and you grill meat.
But it's not without cover.
Without a cover. But usually we do it with the other cover. No one does it with the cover. If you put a cover, it doesn't cook good. Okay? So let's explain how to go around. I'll go from easy to harder. What about chalot? No cheese. We start with something parve. Chalot. If you put the challah to bake, at the same time you put meat to bake, this challah is considered meat and you're not allowed to eat it for breakfast with cheese. Why? Because it absorbed all the meat, steam, whatever comes out of the meat, it absorbs. And you're not allowed to eat it with meat. Okay? Vice versa, same thing. If you put a small oven for milk, and you put something to warm, a croissant, or something to warm, at the same time, in the same oven, it becomes like milk, and you cannot use it for meat. Right? Now, the only difference is, eating such a bread does not have to make 6 hours. If I cook bread in the oven at the same time as meat, or I took out the meat and I cook bread, I cannot eat this bread for breakfast with milk, but if I eat this bread, I do not have to wait 6 hours. I can eat meat afterwards. Milk afterwards. So milk afterwards is no problem. You don't have to wait.
Not eat it together.
Right. Not together, but one after the other, yes. So if I eat this bread or the cake, let's say a woman makes a cake, parve, in an oven, this cake, I cannot drink it with coffee, with milk, but after eating the cake, and I'm finishing eating the cake, I could drink a cup of coffee with milk. Not together, one after the other, yes. Warming pizza, right? You can't. So the safest way to warm pizza, to make lasagna, or to make cheesecake in an oven that's used for meat, the safest way is to cover the pizza, to cover the lasagna, and to cook it with aluminum foil on top of it, well covered. Some say you have to put double wrap. You don't have to put double wrap, right? As long as you cover it well, it's good enough. Because whatever is going to fall on top of the foil, on the silver, right? No problem. Okay. How do I make my oven parve? So the easiest way to make an oven parve if somebody wants to make a cheesecake, because covering a cheesecake won't rise. The cake won't rise. It won't be as good. Right? So how do I make it? The best thing is to put self-clean. What's self-clean? You put 2 hours. You put 2 hours self-clean, your oven now is parve. You make your cheesecake, you make your lasagna. Now you want to make it meat again, you'll put it to self-clean again for an hour or two, and then you bring it back to the status of parve, and then you start meat again, okay? Today, a lot of ovens have a new feature. They're starting to take off, the companies are starting to take off the self-clean. Self-clean destroys the oven. Self-clean, if your circuits, if your wires are not well connected, they would burn the wires. A lot of people get short wires, they get a lot of things. So they're starting to move out the self-clean, and they put a feature called proof. P-R-O-O-F, proof. Proof is like a self-clean with steam. Okay, it's like a self-clean steam, but the problem is this feature is good to clean the oven. You take a cup of water, you throw it into the oven, and it creates, you put it on the feature, it creates steam, and this steam cleans the oven. It doesn't penetrate into the walls of the oven, it just cleans it on the surface, which means your oven now is clean, but it's not kosherable, which means on Pesach, this feature is not good. Pesach, you must have self-clean. But if you want to do from chametz to matzah, that won't be a feature to use. But this system is good enough to clean the oven. Now my oven is clean. Rav Ovadia Yosef says that the chatchila, to begin with, you have to wait 24 hours before making your cheesecake. If you cannot wait 24 hours before making your cheesecake, you're making this proof thing. You clean your oven good with a product. You're putting the proof if you have one. If you don't have one, you open your oven on max, and then your oven now is burning whatever is in the air, whatever is in the walls, and then you can make your cheesecake, your lasagna, to warm up pizza, right? And when you want to turn it back to meat, you'll do the same thing. Clean it good, put it for 20 minutes, half an hour to burn everything, and clean it. So basically, we cannot use our ovens with milk and meat, not even one after the other. We'll have to clean it in between. One thing that you have to be very careful, we cannot cook for Shabbat or for any time, but for Shabbat especially, meat and fish together in the oven. If you want to put in the oven the meat and the fish and cook at the same time, you're not allowed. There's a story, Rav Ovadia Yosef was invited once, and they did it. So they asked him, the Rav Ovadia Yosef, he always found the terim, he always found ways to go around it. So he told everybody you could eat it. But the whole Shabbat, he didn't touch the fish. He didn't want to touch it. He says, you don't put. Why? Fish and meat, זה לא אסור. זה סכנה. It's dangerous. It's dangerous for your health. So he says you don't take a chance. So if you don't have time, you're in a rush, and you want to cook your meat and your fish together, you must take the fish and cover it with aluminum foil. Okay? And then you can put the meat uncovered and the fish covered. It can be the opposite way also. It doesn't have to be. But it's just an example. Right? It can be the opposite way also. But you cannot cook them together. So you have meat and milk, and you have meat and fish, right? All this you have to take in consideration, and you have to make sure your oven is clean before putting one of these. So for Shavuot, if ladies want to prepare cheesecakes, for Shavuot, they have to clean the oven. If possible, we'll let it wait 24 hours. If not possible, just put it on maximum, right? And then they put their cheesecakes and they prepare it for Shavuot. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.